subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. We're reachable anytime, any day on all our social media platforms. Once again, you're welcome. Okay, so I'll quickly tell you that Dr. is a scholar, a civil rights activist, an author, and of course, a wonderful historian. Yes. So we'll be taking him on this interview session, and he's got so much to talk to us about. So, Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you, Angel Lydia.
Thank you so much. It's good to have you. So, we would look at this discussion starting from the Asaba Declaration in the year 2021, May rather. The declaration, the Southern governors, 17 of them came together and stated 9 points. They gave 9 points, and one of it is United Nigeria. And of course, in United Nigeria, the governors affirmed that the people of Southern Nigeria remain committed to the unity of Nigeria on the basis of justice, fairness, equity, oneness, and peaceful coexistence between and among its people, with a focus of the attainment of shared goals for economic development and prosperity. What can you say about the unity of Nigeria based on the declaration of the Southern governors?
Well, thank you very much, Lydia. I think the issue of unity is becoming as more complicated as it is also relative to the situation in the country. Because one person's idea of unity, the Fulani idea of Nigerian unity might not be the Igbo Fulani of Nigerian unity. It might not be the same of the Yoruba. So it depends on the trajectory, on the focus of our definition of Nigerian unity. To some people, Nigerian unity is defined by their pattern of domination of the other groups. While to other people, Nigerian unity can only succeed under equity and justice. So I don't know the kind of unity they're talking about. You also have unity of the graveyard. They are also existing in Nigeria. So it depends on the trajectory you're taking it so that we know where we start. If we start to analyze the concept of unity today, it could form a whole, it could form a PhD thesis.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Hello?
We'll go further on that declaration. Another part of another point mentioned by the Southern governors in that declaration was the security challenges and open grazing ban. The governors observed that the incursion of armed herders, criminals, and bandits into the southern part of the country has presented a severe security challenge, such as that citizens are not able to live their normal lives, including pursuing various productive activities, leading to a threat to food supply and general security, and resolve that open grazing of cattle be banned across southern Nigeria. The governors in Asaba declaration raised open grazing as a point. Can you say efforts have been made?
There is no, so far, everything about open grazing is rhetorics, political rhetorics. In fact, some clearly said, somebody like the governor of Edo State.
Can we make our own contributions, please?
Yes, we'll call for contributions at some point, and of course, you'll be informed. Please stay with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, somebody like Obaseki, whose people have been suffering constant killings, senseless murder and kidnapping by Fulani herdsmen along Benin-Ore Road, turned out to say, no, that he never supported open grazing. For Christ's sake, and let me tell you, because the issue in Nigeria has to do with the cowardly trajectory of our political leaders in the South, who have very ideologically bankrupt band of political leaders, masquerading as governors, senators, and members of the legislature, let us even leave the ministers and the commissioners since they are all appointees. But a major problem in the South are the elected executives of our people. Let me give you an instance. I've been to Guinea. I moved from Guinea by transport to Futajalon region, from Guinea, Conakry to Futajalon region of Senegal. From Senegal to Mali, especially Senegal in particular. In these countries, they do not allow open grazing. As I'm speaking to you today, I'm in Rwanda, and Nigerians don't produce, as Rwandans don't drink water. They don't take tea with milk. They drink milk the way we drink water in Nigeria. You don't see a Rwandese eating with water. Rather, they eat with milk. So they produce healthier cattle. They produce more cattle. As small as they are, they have more cattle than us. Yet, it is a serious offense for you to engage on open grazing. These are people who have centuries of grazing culture, centuries of cattle rearing culture. Yet, even up to the villages, you will not see a single goat or cow roaming the streets. But here in Nigeria, it has become a recurrent, decimal in our conflicts that has become a means of criminalization of the society. So our problem is that our people, our leaders lack the courage to say, look, this open grazing, we don't want it. And you can also understand the reason. The reason is very, very clear. You look at the structure of the federal government. You ask your question, who are the people in control of the federal government? Because when you have the president and commander-in-chief of Nigeria, a Fulani man and a kinsman of cattle rearers, or the herdsmen, you have the president of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a Fulani man, a kinsman of the cattle rearers. You have the Chief Justice of the Federation, a Fulani man, a kinsman of the cattle rearers. You have the Attorney General of the Federation, a Fulani man, a kinsman of the cattle rearers. You have the Chief of Army Staff, a Fulani man, a kinsman of the cattle rearers. You have the Director General of DSSS, a Fulani man, a kinsman of the cattle rearers. You have the Jesus Christ, forgive us. Let me start counting. You have even up to, where do I count? Chief of Naval Staff, a Fulani man. Inspector General of Police, a Fulani man. EFCC man, a Fulani man. Code of Conduct Bureau, a Fulani man. Those in charge of drugs, NDRC man, a Fulani man. He can easily plant a drug for you and arrest you if you're a threat to them. And news will carry before even you be declared innocent. Your name might have been tarnished. The EFCC man, a Fulani man. Look at what Okorocha suffered. Somebody who has been investing, who turned his back against his Igbo people, and been investing in the North, awarding their scholarship for the sake of, just because he wanted to be president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And just few days to the primaries, they broke into his house. Somebody who has been moving on the street, they never knew that he was corrupt at that time. They never knew that he had a case to answer. Apart from the fact that there was also a substituting court judgment.
When you say,
so if you continue counting, Post Authority, Controller General, okay, let us even look at Controller General of Immigration, Fulani man, Controller General of Customs, Fulani man, Controller General of Civil Defense, Fulani man. So when you look at it, you find that all the security and political structures in Nigeria are in their hands. So when the governors look at it, they're always afraid to utter words, except those who are lion-hearted. And only one there. We only have one governor in southern Nigeria. People may criticize him. He may have his own nuisance value, but Wike is a lion-hearted governor. And I continue telling them, a family that does not have a rascal is always exposed to cheap insult by outsiders. And that is our problem. So you can see the problem we have. And this is the problem we have to face. It's not a question of going to election. People are talking of structuring, whereas what you are seeing, the Hausa man says, Gafri Gadoki, CIC knows. You are seeing it. Nobody has protested. The constitution is very, very clear on federal character principle. It's not existing. Nobody questions this. They're all interested. They're all interested in embezzling what? Public funds. And because all their hands are soiled with corruption, none of them can come out and say, no, I don't agree with you. Because if they do, they will use that EFCC and pursue them. And before you know it, your image is tarnished. Before you know it, your immediate plan has been put aside. So I believe this is a major problem. So we have to reorder. The people have to take over the reign of their security responsibilities and not the governors right away if we want to survive.
Okay, you did mention that Wike is the only rascal here that people
Yeah, that's what they call him, yes. Yes, that's what they call him. And we also need a rascal too.
Does that help in any way?
You say what?
Does that help in any way? Has it been beneficial?
Yes.
Also?
Yes. If you look at Rivers State is one of the places in southern Nigeria where herdsmen never step their feet on. Rivers State. They rampage in the whole southeast, they rampage in Delta, they rampage in other parts of the other parts of the south. Maybe because of Bayelsa and Rivers State, they are twin states. These are the two states that have been immune from the menace of herdsmen in the south. So I believe it works because you look at the terrain, you find that they also know their limits at their states. They have their limits. So it works. And every person, every leadership in the north, they are under the rule of rascals because they all cooperate with Boko Haram and ISIS to sustain their positions.
Now, looking at you saying that the states that the open grazing is not practiced is Rivers and Bayelsa and Abia State, you said the declaration having open grazing as one of its points is a success.
Well, it is it is a success in the fact that the leadership of those two states are proactive in respect of enforcing that policy. And it's not just their policy, it's not a question of law, it's a question of the fear of the known. Because the Fulani herdsmen, the Fulani in particular, they worked with the psychology, they work with the strategy of siege mentality. They they use the authority and coerce you into submitting to their own position, to their own desires and to their own approaches. So where they know that the states, that the governors cannot budge, and the governors also have equal militants that can confront them. Those militants that can tell their governors, Governor, you cannot tell us what to do. They stay away. But not those governors that be preaching against, misquoting the Bible in terms of reference to defense. Who told them? Who told them that Christians are not warriors? Who told them that Jesus Christ is not a warrior? Who told them Christians cannot defend themselves? Who told them?
Well, let me interject here. Looking at the theme of this discussion,
yes,
Atiku, Abubakar, and the Southern Governor's Declaration regarding 2023.
Yes.
One of that Asaba declaration is that the president of Nigeria in 2023 must come from the southern region.
Yes.
Now, seeing that PDP has elected Atiku Abubakar
Yes.
as their presidential candidate for 2023,
yes.
the Labour Party has picked P2B.
Yes.
We don't know where the APC will go this weekend. How have this emergence of Atiku Abubakar as PDP candidate, how do you relate it to that Southern Governor's Declaration?
That's what I'm talking about. You have leaders. I've said it that the only governor we have is Governor Wike. Imagine if Wike had not even attempted, what should have happened? Indeed, I think it should actually been a not affair. If you had listened to Wike, you weep for our people. You see the governors haggling to be vice president, like my governor Okowa, carried all our delegates, Delta State delegates, and gave to Atiku because he was promised to be governor. The same thing with Ugwa, the same thing with some other people. Look at even Anambra State. Wike was even sponsoring because they do not have a PDP governor. They carry their votes not even to their own people. I mean, if you fail to vote for Wike, why not vote for other two Southeast states? 95 delegates. Only
I can see you've been eulogizing Governor Wike of Rivers State here.
No, well, I am not eulogizing
that. Well, my question is, why would you expect the South and Southeast governors or South and Southeast politicians to back Governor Wike, where the Igbos, in particular, the Southeast, claim that in fairness and equity, they are supposed to produce the next president? Why wouldn't we get back a Southeast candidate? And if he fails to do that, what right has he to expect his fellow South and Southeast governors to back his aspiration?
Okay, thank you very much. I will take it from two dimensions. One, moral, the other one, politically technical. We look at the moral aspect. I was one of the leaders that proposed Igbo presidency. I was a public affairs, director of public affairs. World Igbo Summit Congress. We headquarters in Uturu with all the major Igbo leaders, including the president Ohaneze president. Our position was Igbo presidency because we are talking about Igbo unity. And when you are talking of Igbo unity, you are talking about the 7 states that have majority, that have a considerable Igbo presence, which means including Delta and including where River State. And both Delta and River State, they also have Igbo governors. The way Ohaneze was rotating, that was our idea. Igbo presidency. Just as Yoruba, if you are talking of Southwest, you are talking of Southwest from outside. Among the Yoruba people, there is nothing like Southwest. As far as they are concerned, Yoruba is Yoruba. Among the Fulani, there is nothing like Northwest and Northeast. To them, all they know that Yoruba is Yoruba. That was our position. Until they call Anyim, after I had gone into exile, because they call Anyim to deliver a lecture. Anyim openly in his lecture, in Uturu, and said that Igbo of Rivers and Igbo of Delta were excluded. And then they went along to contract our elder statesman, E.K. Clark, to also support it, that Delta and River State should not participate. And I opposed it. I wrote an article challenging E.K. Clark that it was wrong. You as Ijoma cannot come and divide Igbo people here. Because during the Civil War, everybody fought. there was no difference between Midwest Igbo and Southeast Igbo. During the program, if they're killing the Igbo people today, there's no difference. There's nothing like Southeast. So we'll be talking about Igbo unity and not one. And anybody who brought the idea of Southeast, I saw that person as a divisive element who does not want Igbo unity to thrive. So for me, I never supported that idea of Southeast. As far as we are concerned, and we have been talking about restructuring, that issue of Southeast geopolitical zone was a disservice to Igbo ethnic nation because it was not equitably created. How many local governments? You are talking about 93 local governments. Then Kano Estate has 44 local governments. And we're still talking about we are Southeast, we are this, we are this. We're not talking about it. The Jews are talking about ingathering of people outside. The Igbo are talking about exclusiveness. So I never supported as an Igbo man. I'm a proud Igbo man from Delta State. You can see my name. I cannot deny it. So I never supported that. The idea of Southeast, I never supported it. And even as a lecturer at the University of Nigeria and Soka, it was just around 2019 that the university community discovered that actually I was not from Anambra State or Abia State. Most of them thought I came from Anambra State. None of them.
There is a question on the chat.
So, yes, I'm now coming to the other answer. So we came as an Igbo man.
There is a question on the chat room there.
Let me finish this one, then I come to that one.
Did Wike see himself as an Igbo man?
Excuse me. Wike is an Igbo man.
Did he see himself as an Igbo man?
Yes, he sees himself as an Igbo man. And the issue, yes, he sees himself as an Igbo man. And the issue of Igbo identity again, when you come to the field of ethnography, anthropology, and history, it's also relative. Because in the Southeast today, the only state that has pure Igbo, pure 100% Igbo is Imo State.
Would it look fair where we have?
No, I'm coming. Only Imo State. All other states have other ethnic groups included.
I'm not trying to disturb your train of thought. I'm only trying to put things in perspective.
Okay.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot in anything. But our listeners would like to know where we have had President Goodluck Jonathan just in 2015.
Yes.
From Bayelsa State. Bayelsa was created from Rivers State.
Yes.
And so would it be fair and equitable to ask the Igbo of the Southeast,
yes,
who gave 120% of their votes to Goodluck Jonathan? Yes. Will it be fair to ask the Igbo again to give another support to Wike as the next president in 2023?
It is, if Igbo believe that they're Igbo, as far as we are concerned, River State, if you look at the trajectory of politics, even in Eastern region, River States, you call them, you call them Cross River, Ogoja River State, apart from Ogoja, which voted for NCNC, the core River States are their own political party, and they were even voting for, they were in coalition with MPC. And remember that it was in that place that the issue of secession began. So the River States are different from Ikwere. Ikwere belong to Southern Igbo group area with Orata, which included the Owerri area. Ahuda. So, we are talking, when we are talking intellectually, most people might not hear. So the issue is that if we believe that Igbo people are one, definitely anywhere an Igbo man comes, they vote for him. Let me give you an instance in the Yoruba land. OPC that gathered the whole people. Dr. Fashion, the original chairman, president of OPC from Ondo State. Gani Adams from Ondo State. Presidency. Awolowo from Ondo State.
Let's again
let me conclude.
Because our listeners, so that we don't lose.
Yes, you allow me to land. You don't cut me half like that.
Okay,
I'm giving an instance when you are cutting me. I'm not giving you. Allow me to land.
Okay,
I'm not telling you that among the Yoruba, Awolowo from Ogun State, Obasanjo from Ogun State, Abiola from Ogun State, Shoneko from Ogun State. So then they don't care the state you come from.
That is why I'm trying to put things in perspective. Let's put things in perspective. Olusegun Obasanjo was a military president. He became a civilian president. So when you say Ogun State, you wouldn't, let's not take away what happened. Let's not mix what happened under the military to what is happening under a civilian government. And when we look at my question, for instance, our listeners would like to know, will it be fair? I want you to quickly address it briefly so that we move on.
Yes.
The Igbos have complained of marginalization since 1960. Yes. They have not been able to taste the presidency, yes, apart from the brief stint of Aguirre runs under the military. Yes. And now, Goodluck Jonathan identified with them as an Igbo, so to say, and the Igbos gave him 120%. Will it be fair again to ask them to give another 100% support to Wike from Rivers State instead of one of them, seeing that P2B and Empire Side, some of them have indicated interest in the same presidency? Would it be fair for them to ask them to support Wike again? That's the question.
Now, I've given one reason why it is fair. I've given one reason, the issue of definition of an Igbo. You are talking of 1960. 1960, they all belong to Eastern region. So in Eastern region, I don't think there was, anything like Southeast then. We are talking of Eastern region. So Port Harcourt was the creation of Igbo premiers. Port Harcourt was and is still an Igbo town. So let us not go into that. It's just like Asaba today. It's an Igbo town.
Sorry.
When you're talking at the other side,
I want our listeners to be focused.
Yes.
Now, the question is again, because yes, your argument was that the South should have backed Wike, who is a lion. The question is, what stopped Wike himself to back someone like P2B, to back someone like Pius? And if he didn't do that, why would he expect other governors to back him?
Thank you very much. First of all, politics is not a Father Christmas. Politics is not a Father Christmas matter.
Exactly. So and therefore, Wike shouldn't expect other governors.
Let me come. Elomba, you ask me a question. Allow me to digest and present it. You cut me off, and you're not giving our listener the benefit of that. I said politics is not a Father Christmas. Politics is by investment, and I've discussed it severally with you. Politics is business. To Americans, to Europeans, politics is an alternative business.
So there's no morality in politics.
There's morality in business.
There's no morality in politics.
Allow me.
Elomba,
allow me to come. We are not in arguments. I think I'm here for the interview. We are not in argument. We are not arguing. I'm here for the interview. I'll give you a stance. Anambra, every political party, let me tell you P2B's problem. You don't fold your hand and expect somebody to give you a vote when you have not proved yourself in your own state. P2B was made by APGA. Let us be very, P2B was made by APGA. He left PDP. He left APGA and joined PDP. 2 consecutive elections. He has not been able to deliver Anambra State to PDP. P2B also, as a former governor, should have, and a successful businessman, should have a storehouse of resources to sponsor PDP in Anambra State, because every PDP every political party that does not have a governor in their state, they have problem. And Wike have been giving them money, have been sponsoring the party there. It does not matter your level. It does not matter your level of contribution. So there's osmosis of politics in this matter. Your food normally go to where the concentration is thicker. So first of all, the basis of it is that somebody sponsored that political investment. Tinubu was able to enter Edo State because he invested. during Oshomole, he invested. Our Igbo politicians have not even been able to invest into middle belt. Even go to, let me tell you something you don't know. Bauchi has majority Christians there. If not because of Danjuma, Taraba should have fallen to Fulani control. Adamawa has majority Christians. Nasarawa has majority Christians. Kaduna State has majority Christians. But these people are disenfranchised economically, and they needed a godfather to invest and support them. Igbo people are the richest people in Nigeria. Forget you have, variegated rich men. The Igbo people, the highest concentration of multi-millionaires, the highest per capita income among even the lowest cadre of the society, among the Igbo. You invest. You invest, take your money, because the Fulani have been able to control their middle belt because they have all their people in government, they accumulated money, they have all their people having oil well and so on and so forth. All these minorities don't have money. And if an Igbo man could go and even invest, put somebody there, tell me why that person cannot come out and say, it is you will follow. Look at Benue State. Benue State. They've been killing Benue people. None of Igbo leaders, none of Igbo governors even paid what? Paid a condolence visit to Oton to say, oh, this people, now they're killing us. You want Oton to come and pay? But we leave River State and go to Benue State and sympathize with them. So I don't know if you understand what I mean by political investment. It's not a question of coming to preach morality. I am this, I am this. You want them to support you? You have to sacrifice. And that is why even in churches, we give offering, we give tithes, we give donations. They're all spiritual investments. As you have spiritual investment, so also you have political investments. You don't tell me to come and support you. Anyim, as even in a Ebonyi state, Anyim as that secretary to the federal government was supposed to be given to Okwadiki Ibuku. Some people concluded we needed a younger person. What did Anyim's position give to Igbo people? For the 6 years Jonathan was president, Onitsha Enugu Expressway, I'm not sure it has been completed, it was there. And Jonathan was confronted. Say, why did you not tie this road? Jonathan laughed and told them, you have Secretary General, you have finance, these are the people who are in charge. Am I now the person to come and force them to construct their roads? The people will be blaming Jonathan. Tell me, how many Igbo people were actually in important positions under Jonathan's rule? The Igbo, even under Aguirre, even under the First Republic, the Igbo people never enjoyed the kind of legacies, political appointments they enjoyed under Jonathan. Yet, they did not use their position to affect the life of Igbo people. And that is part of our current problems in Southeast. Because you have an ideologically corrupt leadership with an indolent followers. In Yoruba land, the youth will pull down the leadership. And that is why the Yoruba leadership are responsible to the electors. In Igbo land, it is the electors that are responsible to the leader. So they can afford to do anything. They can afford to, to push away the people and go out. You tell an Igbo man, come out, we are going to, celebrate. He said, will I leave my shop? But in Lagos State, even market women during OPC, they will come, even naked, to demonstrate for their interests for that one day, to protect themselves. So if you are talking of we cannot say, oh, because Southeast, look, you have to do what? You have to take your blessing. Otherwise, Christ said he has come to die for us. He has delivered. Then we should not go around and try to be good. We just relax. Why are preachers now telling us we should strive to go to heaven if Christ has died for us and given us? You have to walk. And James is very, very clear. Faith without work is dead. You have to walk. You have to invest politically. Until the Igbo people, when the first bomb attack was made in Kano, Fashamu called me. I was the president of Igbo People's Congress in Lagos, taking care of interests of Igbo people and making sure that OPC never attacked them. Fashamu called me, look at what is happening. We want to, the young, who was then the young motor transport, who was then the chairman of luxury bus drivers. owners. And we told him, say, no, we don't want anything. We don't want you people to write. We're businessmen. Everything will go down like that. We left. The first one was looking at me. Then when Fulani people invaded Enugu State and killed 40 people, the governor was there crying. Fashion when I sent me to Ugwanye, look, the southern leaders who want to, even with Asarido people, want to protest against that killing. I went there, met the chief of staff, who was there, who then, was an Abia man, and he took the letter to the governor and said, oh, we don't want to affect you, we don't want to disturb Fulani. That was what he said. Okay,
thank you very much, Doctor. For time's sake, we would quickly round up this session so that we can take questions and, of course, contributions from our listeners. Okay.
I've not even talked about Atiku. Before you talk about, because that is the main issue. We're only talking about, I brought Mwike then, but Elomba decided to face, Mwike. Yes, but that is not the issue here. But you have to take a point. In history, we talk about, you start from the known to the unknown. So Mwike is the unknown. He's the person whose position has been controversial among the Southerners. And that was why I tried to emphasize on him. But then, let us even look at the PDP convention. As PDP the right to even allow Atiku to contest. Have they, if the PDP has a sense of morality, to even allow Atiku to contest? Let's even forget about it. We're talking about people voting Wiki. That is not the issue. If at least our Igbo brothers, the 80 delegates, the 95 delegates, all had voted for Ogwabunwa and Anyim, it should have been a different case. We should have said, oh, the Igbo people are ready. But these 80 people, 80 out of 95 delegates, voted for Atiku. And these are the people where you have unknown government. These are the people, these are the places where you have IPOP, where the Fulani are also rampaging. Just a few days ago, the head of the head of the Methodist Church in the whole Nigeria, with Bishop over there, they were kidnapped and 100 million naira was delivered in the heart of Igbo land. In the heart of Igbo land. And we are talking of an election 2013. Who are going to elect? Who are going to come out? Who are you going to elect? And you are bringing Atiku. Atiku, who sacked his Igbo spokesman simply because the young man criticized the stoning and murder of Deborah Samuel. He sacked him for condemning the stoning of a Christian in the name of blasphemy. Then you sacked him and you're electing him. Atiku has been, premium times called him a serial defector. He has moved from PDP to ACN, ACN to PDP to APC.
Is it verified that Atiku sacked an Igbo aide that?
Atiku stated it. It's not a question of verification. He said he sacked him because before he gave any release, that was his defense. Before he gave any release, he should have told him.
I'm just asking. Yes,
verified from his mouth that the reason why he sacked him was that he did not inform him before making the release. Is that a reason? Is that a reason? Because he could say that because he knows that the Southerners, their politicians are naive, they are corrupt. He could buy them with his stolen dollars. Otherwise, under a civilized society, that alone should have cost him that nomination. They don't care. Because they know that people they are dealing with are foolish and stupid. They're only interested in protecting their ill-gotten wealth, keeping it for their children.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. We'll take some questions now from the comment session. And for you who have your question, please kindly raise your hand and you get identified to ask your questions. You have your questions, please kindly raise your hands. Okay, we have Elder Tango Ugochukwu. Please ask your question. Elder, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay. I'll mute myself now.
Yes, you're on mute now. We can hear you.
You are the one that muted me, so I want to unmute myself.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Now I'm through. Dr. Wezigwe.
Yeah, thank God.
Take my question, you know. You talk of Wike, you said a lot of things about Wike. How do you see Wike action? Is Wike really working to answer given to him?
No.
Or he's doing it on the interest of politics? Because a lot of things happen along the line. Court case with the Imo State, with the River State was settled only a week or 2 weeks before the election. Wike is having a lot of privileges with these people. So is Wike really fighting a just cause?
Okay, thank you.
This is one question. After I will answer another question again.
Okay, first of all, we are talking about Asaba declaration, where the fundamental, one of the fundamental declaration was that come rain, come sunshine, the Southerner presidency must shift to the South. That was what our governors told us. It does not matter if Wike had lost. But according to Wike, if I can quote him, he said, based on that declaration, they all agreed to support him, that one person from the South should come out. And they agreed to support him and even collected money from him. So first of all, Wike's coming out, according to, was in accordance with the Asaba declaration. That is, say, first. Secondly, Wike has been known, people call him rascal, people call him madman, whatever, but that has actually presented the face of revolution, the face of dying revolution in the South. If you can have, as I said earlier, if you have a madman in your family, outsiders, strangers cannot come and abuse your elders with alacrity. It is, and people, Igbo people will always say, a family, you know, a kindred.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
Since you are going out of my question,
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you, Wike, is Wike doing all he's doing for himself or for someone else? Or Wike is working to answer?
First
Given
of
to
all,
him.
first of all,
Go to my question.
that's what I've told you now, that from Asaba declaration, he was not doing it for himself. Because according to the Asaba declaration, they've said a Southerner, that what a governor must come from the South. That was Asaba declaration. And according to him, he consulted them and they supported them.
Are you aware?
And secondly, let me come. Secondly, the issue of personal ambition. Even those who work under United Nations High Commission for Refugees, under which care I am today, they don't work it free. They work with remuneration. So underneath every ambition, underneath every humanitarian posture, underneath every selfish engagement,
Dr. Wezigwe,
there is that interest of personal survival there.
You are touching my
personal
question.
Ambition is there.
You are not going to my question yet. I'm
Tell
putting
me.
you through now. Take it from me. Wike is serving as a spoiler. Wike is working against Igbo presidency. Because what Wike did, you know, now, today, Wike have congratulated Atiku. Wike have accepted defeat. So Wike have succeeded. Wike didn't go there to win. Wike is working to answer. Wike behave like a tool used against Igbo presidency. But for me, I tango. I don't care for Igbo presidency. We need a better country, call our own. But all the hanky-panky, all the partial they are playing is known. And with this, I don't see any hope. And the Fulani itself are not ready to give power to anybody. I don't see that this election holding. Now, my last question to you: do you see any hope for peaceful election on 2023? Okay.
Yes. Before I answer that question, I want to ask you one question based on what you asked me. Who are the Igbo? How do you define an Igbo people in Nigeria?
No, excuse
Geographically and culturally. No. Just answer who, because you are saying this person don't want, who are Igbo people?
I can take you on that one. Listen to me. Igbo is Igbo anywhere. Igbo nation is Igbo nation, no matter where you are. But we can have publicly declared it's not Igbo. Are you not aware of that?
Are you aware that there are people in Delta State, in my state, that claim that they are not Igbo?
Wait, give me room to come down.
Yes.
I know Igbo. I'm Igbo man now, getting to nearly 70 years as an Igbo man. So no story, somebody will not teach me what history of Igbo or anything about Igbo now. Igbo is everywhere. Igbo speaking, even among the Igbo, just like Yoruba land. You are saying something, you are well educated though. What you are saying is very correct. I serve in Yoruba land. From what is Ilese, we Virginia Ilese Barrack. When I was a soldier, I saw our achievement, how our did, and all our did in Yoruba land. That's love. But most of our politicians are self-centered, egoistic. So the problem we have, are you still on?
Yes, I'm watching.
So most of our politicians go there for their own selfish interests. Serve the people, do something for people, so the people will know you are with them. Yoruba have many languages. Igbo have many languages too. Hausa do not have many languages. I have visited all corners. Even there's more language in the north than in the south. But unification, Sadana unification, affect the whole north. Every northerner can understand Hausa language. I will do the same thing in the west. The whole Yoruba can hear themselves. For Okeneman Ijebu, it's a different dialect, a different language. Everybody is on its own, but I will unite everybody. Assuming this system work in the east, this division will not be there. Different dialect doesn't mean different language. Asaba, like you and I, Ibuzo, you are Igbo man. You are never identify you. You are 100% Igbo. So nobody will tell you that you are not Igbo, or River State man, or Calabar man. So this divide and rule system is a weapon. Divide and rule system dichotomy to share off a little. So what I'm telling you that the history of this PDP primary will come out. Wike is an agent working to answer. Wike is not sincere. Wike made a name for himself, destroy Igbo chance. But not only that, I'm an Igbo man. I'm not after Igbo man being the president, but can we have a good country called our own? So thank you.
Okay, let me leave that issue of Igbo this thing because it can take us a long time. But what I just, if you remember what I told you earlier, the only pure state in Igbo land without purely Igbo is Imo State.
No,
Anambra State. Listen, you are from Anambra State.
Yes.
Yeah, you're from Anambra. Nzam people, they are Igala. They speak Igala and Igbo.
No, you don't know how to move it.
No. So if you go to Enugu State, you still have Igala people. Ebonyi State, in Tezi people are there.
Yes.
So let us not go into there. In Delta State, listen,
like
in Delta State,
don't tell me my history.
I think Elder Tango, let's allow Doctor to come on.
Yes,
okay, thank you.
Please.
Thank you.
In Delta State, on a whole 7 communities among Aniocha North local government area, not even close to Edo State. Aniocha, center of Igbo, they are Yoruba, Olukume. They speak 2 languages, Olukume. They crossed Edo State, came there 7 times, or they are in clan. People, you hear about Ndoko Bade, you hear about all of them. They answer Igbo names, but they are Yoruba. In their home, they speak Yoruba. When they are discussing with us, they speak Igbo. But if they go to Lagos, they identify as Igbo people. Ebu and other people, they are Igala. Amadi Emene, they bear Igbo names. They speak Igbo among us. But when they come to their town's meeting, they speak Igala. So the issue of identity, I don't want us to go into here because it is academic, and this is not an academic forum. So, but let us leave it, because if I take it on you, we cause a lot of problems. So let's leave it. But what I'm telling you is that any person who claims that is Igbo is Igbo. If you claim you are not Igbo, and yet you bear Igbo name, you live within Igbo culture, that you claim that you are not Igbo does not disturb you from being Igbo.
Okay,
so thank you. Yeah, I want you on the issue of 2003 election. I don't think that election will be feasible, because it is obvious that the present government is out of control, especially because the primary aim, look at the title of the president. They say President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. So that Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces is a cardinal identity, is a cardinal function of anybody who is the president of any country. And if you as the Commander-in-Chief cannot maintain internal security, this is not even external aggression from Chad, Ghana, Benin. This is internal security. If you cannot maintain it, then there's no business remaining there. If it were a civilized country, President Buhari should have resigned. But right away, I don't think even whoever that will come can bring sanity in terms of the security challenges in our country. Left with me, I will suggest an interim government to take over. Or if possible, let army come and take over and stabilize the country. Burkina Faso, insurgency led by Fulani people in northern Fulani, they've been causing problems. Army took over. You could say that since army took over, that problem is being resolved.
If army took over, Fulani will take over now. If army took over, Fulani will.
No, sir. Please, no, sir.
Please, let's move on to the next.
Yes. In Mali, the same thing, the same insurgency led by Fulani people and Tuareg people. The army came all over and stabilized it. So we don't care if the army comes back to Nigeria. And because as far as we are concerned, even the army, the police, they are threatened. Nigeria is a situation now where anybody can even buy a hired killer to kill his neighbor, and they will term it unknown gunmen. So nobody's even safe in Nigeria. Anybody that is killed today, both those ones that are being called armed robbers before, both of those that are being called hired assassins, they are now all unknown gunmen. So the situation is very, very terrible. So, and the federal government of the APC federal government has proved that they cannot bring security sanity to the country. So my own this thing is that election cannot work. Because first of all, the security challenges will not allow for free movement and free and fair election. You could see some unknown government killing innocent people in the southeast, in Imo State, simply because they came for voter registration and they ended up dying. That just for registration. Think of when election time comes. Even the army themselves are not being killed. It is only, let us even take it. On 28th of March, a train, Abuja cabinet train, bank train, was attacked by bandits at the center of the country. About 10 people were killed. More than 60 people were kidnapped. We are talking about 28th March. Today is 1st June. Up to today, more than 60 people are being held hostage by those bandits. The federal government, the military, the people, the politicians are not talking about. They're not talking anything. It's about election, nomination. These people are still, and the bandits are threatening that they will execute them. Think of America or Israel or Britain. You get any of their one single word personnel, you take it. With it, they can go to war. So tell me why an American cannot say, I love America, I can die for America. Tell a Nigerian today, if you will die for Nigeria, they will laugh at you. Look at it in Rwanda. 2 soldiers were kidnapped by Congo DRC, rebels some few days ago. It was a serious problem. They are still trying to resolve it now. Only 2 non-commissioned officers. But in Nigeria, we've been having records of killing brigadiers. It is only Nigeria that bandits have killed a brigadier general. A number of colonels at the center of the country. And we keep on moving. It is only Nigeria that bandits have invaded NDC, Nigerian Defense Academy.
Please, yes.
And then abducted army officers, lieutenant colonel from his quarters in army barracks, in Defense Academy. And we are laughing over it. We are relaxing. We are talking about 2003 election.
Thank you, please. We have Ankyo Briggs, before the questions started coming, had asked if we could ask questions. Please, Ankyo Briggs, if you're here, kindly raise your hand and unmute yourself for your questions, please. Ankyo Briggs, if you're still here, please kindly unmute yourself and ask your question.
Can I ask my question, please, if you're whilst we're waiting for Ankyo Bridge?
Okay.
Okay. Dr. Wezigwe, good evening. How are you? Long time no see.
I'm okay.
Happy New Year.
You're enjoying your sanctions against Russia.
I don't know. My question, I'll first make a comment before I ask you the question. Yes. I think it's unfair to scapegoat, for Wike to scapegoat the Southern delegates for his failure to clinch the primaries, because you know, I followed his campaign quite closely when he was going around telling everybody how he has been in the party for since 1998 and what he has done for the party, and those are all okay. So I think he should place the blame where the blame should be due, which is on the party that failed him, not the Southern delegates. The Southern delegates did not fail him, it's the party that failed Wike, and Wike scapegoating the Southern delegates or the South or the governors is a misplaced anger just to find somebody to scapegoat. So I don't think Wike is right by being upset with the Southern governors or the delegates that let him down. My question is now that coming to the Igbo thing and the Southern thing that you mentioned, that the South must support the South, whoever that person is. Now that P2B is now on a different party, the Labour Party, do you think that Wike will support P2B as a Southerner like himself, you know, going forward? Do you see the possibility of Wike, you know, working to see P2B elected as the president of Nigeria?
Thank you very much. The possibility of Wike supporting P2B to be elected is as possible as it is for every Southerner and every Southerner and every Middle Belter to support P2B, but everything depends on the trajectory of his campaign and networking. You don't stay and say, because I'm P2B, because I'm a Southerner, and Wike should not support me. That is not politics. P2B, knowing quite well that Rivers State has a very massive voting capacity, can now go and maybe use other networking like traditional rulers, religious rulers or Southern Nigeria, and then approach him. Definitely, Wike will listen to them, and then it will become a Southern affair. Well, we are still expecting the result, the APC nomination for us to, to know the result. But everything has to do with networking and also your flexibility. Campaign is all about flexibility. It's not all about morality. It's not all about rigidity or principle based on morality, based on I do. No. It's Machiavellian. It is pragmatic. You are taking, like in history, when you give me paper, anthropological paper, political paper, you want me to use a political science methodology, I will tell you no. We don't apply research questions in history. Problem, we don't define it in history. We have our own methodology. You move, you ask one question to a researcher. What comes out next? We determine the next question. You move with time, you flow. That is historical, and that is politics. So P2B should apply the principle of pragmatism, not that morality. Oh, I have this. Oh, I'm my CV. In politics, Nigeria has never produced an intelligent president. We have never produced an intelligent president like they have Kagame here in Rwanda. Somebody who can be proud and then take his policy and stand by it. No. It is those. It's either you're throwing Agbada or you're throwing your kaftan. That is what we have. So I believe P2B, if he's able to work, and also the Abga man, we should tell the Abga man who just came out as Abga president to also mellow down. That is my belief. It's possible. But the issue that it depends on P2B.
Now with the Atiku being the flag bearer for PDP, from from my own opinion, my point of view, I think PDP actually shot themselves in the foot by electing Atiku to be their flag bearer, because I don't think Atiku is electable. He doesn't have that character, electability sort of character. But like you said, everything depends on what the APC does with their own primaries and whoever they come up with, because I don't think that Atiku will ever become the president of Nigeria, regardless of how much he's preparing to spend or expend in his campaign. So that's my opinion. Yeah. So I don't know how you see it.
No, you're right. The Atiku is that's what I'm saying. Atiku's strength actually lies in the middle belt, and because of the excessive money he made. And as I said, the middle belt politicians are disenfranchised financially. It is only Taraba, because of the presence of General Danjuma, that Atiku has not been able to enter. As I said earlier, Christians are majority in Adamawa State. Christians are majority in Bauchi, in Gombe State. Christians are majority in Adamawa State, in Kaduna State. In Borno State, Christians constitute 30%. In Bauchi State, Christians constitute 25%. But most of these people are disenfranchised. And the Southern Christians who have money, who are politicians, instead of investing on these people, will reinvest on those people who are already exploiting them. Like Okorocha went to Castina, he will build this, he will get awarded a scholarship. Did they spare him? They didn't spare him. Like who again? Amechi now. Rotimi Amechi is not telling Castina people should vote me. He was stubborn because he took railway line to them up to Niger Republic. There's nothing like East-West rail line again. Since colonial period, if we had East-West railway line, the Enugu, Onitsha, Asaba, Benin, Lagos, Ore, trunk road shouldn't be as busy as it is today. Maybe the rate of insecurity along that road should have reduced. But he did not. He's thinking about his own personal interest. This is somebody who was made by orderly. You've been there for as a speaker, River State House of Assembly 8 years. Then you became governor 8 years, and you are now a minister 8 years. You also want to be governor again, president again, without positive impact among your people. So that is the problem we have.
Do you think that P2B can win the presidency with only 4 zones? The North Central, the South, the Southwest, and the Southeast. Do you see the possibility of that?
Yes. The only technical problem we have is that the emperors, the sheikhs of the electoral system are under the control of Fulani. The chairman of electoral commission is Fulani man. The minister of communication who issues ID card and knows who is a citizen or not is a Fulani man. The chief judge of the federation is a Fulani, where the whole team will come over to his table. The FCC man who can disenfranchise, who can accuse you that you're a criminal and disenfranchise you, is a Fulani man. So we have that shakedown, technical problem of shakedown dominance in our electoral system, which people have not been able to address. That is one. Outside that, P2B could make it, as I said, if he has a strong network, not those rabble rousers moving on P2B. That is not politics. Politics is strategic studies. And when you're talking of strategic studies, war study is just part of strategic studies. And strategic studies is also part of war, depending on the area you are measuring. First of all, I sent a letter to Onu of Ife and Oba of Benin last year, telling them we're having crisis in the South. We're not someone Southern traditional rulers. Every time the Sultan of Sokoto continue summoning northern traditional rulers, especially the emirs, the northern, the Fulani world. They continue meeting, determining the political future of this country, the political direction of this country. Our traditional rulers cannot meet together. If our traditional rulers meet, I was telling one of my friends that the only problem we have in the Middle Belt is that the two other most powerful, traditional rulers are ineffectual now. But if the southern traditional rulers meet together and go to Middle Belt, meet Atigala, meet the Totif or Chidoma, meet the man in Bachama, meet Akuka, meet Bonkon Jos. These are the people who control. These are the people who control their communities, and these are people who can mobilize the people, not the politicians, not even the churches. It is the emirs that determine who they should vote. Our traditional rulers have not been able. I wrote them; they did not take it serious. So if we want to take power from the Fulani, I'm saying it openly, I'm not hiding. We must strategically apply all our directions, all the trajectories of authority in our society. It's not just most of the churches are partisan, most of the church leaders are partisan, and they're also corrupt. But the traditional rulers have their own limitation in corruption. Because they can reach to the town, they have link to the town unions, they have link to the traditional chiefs, they have link to the traditional women organization. These are traditional rulers. They can also summon the church people, the church pastors operating in their communities and say, this is where our community is going, and this is where we want to go. What happened in the north, where they call kids from primary school to vote for Buhari in 2015? Can it happen in the south? It cannot happen because of this disunity. But when an emir said, go and bring all the people in Woodhill Elementary School, give them PVC and vote, nothing will happen. They can do it because they have the police, they have the attorney general, they have the army, they have the chief justice. So where they have the INEC person. So where will you report that? They have all the authorities, all the networks that can determine the direction of any criminal prosecution in this country. Even prison. They take you to the prison. The controller of prison is a Fulani man. He can even poison you there. Controller of customs, he can determine the way, what should be imported. Chairman of Post Authority, MD, is also yes, a Fulani person. Immigration Controller General, Controller General of Immigration, a Fulani person. So they can also determine who enters Nigeria and who does not enter Nigeria. But I bet you, if the South, if the South come to unity, no Fulani man can win a presidential election here. I want you to look at the trajectory, the direction of votes during Obasanjo when at the initial position of this election. The whole Upper Northerners voted for AP. Upper Northerners voted for AP. Yet, they did not make the presidency. Buhari won the presidency only because the South voted for him. Look at the votes. Apart from the riggings in Kaduna and Kano. But even the riggings in Kaduna and Kano. And what did they do? They also used among them in PDP to rig election. Like the national chairman of PDP then, from Bauchi, former governor of Bauchi State. He refused to release money to PDP in the South for the election. I was in Enugu State as a lecturer, University of Nigeria and Second. Until Friday evening, no money. It was Enugu State governor that mobilized money. And as Muike said, even the governors decided to sign an agreement and make sure that they delivered him 25% per state. And Muike said it was only his River State that did not give Buhari 25%. So if we are talking about, let us leave Muike affair, because Muike, if you can have other mad people, one or two mad people like Muike, I think the Fulani will respect us. We want more mad governors like Muike, not holier than thou that takes us to hell. And let me tell you, even Jesus Christ was armed. I give you an instance. When Jesus Christ was arrested, Peter drew out his sword and cut off the ear of the chief priest. What did Jesus Christ tell him? Did Jesus Christ say, Peter, where did you get the sword? Jesus Christ didn't tell him. Jesus Christ said, Peter, put back your what? Sword into the sheath. Which means all the apostles of Jesus Christ were armed. So anybody thinking that Christianity in Nigeria is a religion of indolence, a religion of cowards, it's just because our leaders are corrupt. Until we get leaders that understand the true interpretation of the Bible,
Dr. Moisigo,
cannot go that way.
Dr. Moisigo, when you talk about the madman, Wike being a madman, to me, it comes across a bit, I don't know, a bit contradictory from your stance in terms of networking and strategic thinking and strategic working and the rest of it. So, because I don't think that a mad person can think strategically or work in a strategic way to be able to pull off an objective like winning the presidency. And I believe that's what happened to Wike, because he used this bravado in terms of, okay, I'm this, I'm that, his madness. But at the end of the day, he didn't, work strategically enough to be able to, bring enough vote in to make him, to give him the primaries. So there's always going to be quite a limit to that sort of madman theory. Sure, there should be a madman, but when you're running for the highest office in the land, that madman sort of theory has its limits, especially like a place in Nigeria. You can tell me that I'm wrong, but I think the madman theory has its limits, but when, not when you're running for the office like the presidency. So I don't know how you square the two, being a madman or thinking strategically. How do you square the two?
No. When I use madman, I'm trying to reference those who see him as a madman. I see Wike as a lion. But then maybe you did not listen to Wike. Wike said that only 3 states gave him that vote: Rivers State, Lagos State, and Kano State. Delta states, we were told that even the delegates collected $15,000 each. And then the governor now turned around because they promised him they will make him running mate to Atiku. He now told them to take their vote. So it's not a question of Tambowale, somebody Wike sponsor. Tambowale was supposed to contest. And if Tambowale has contested, that Atiku's vote should have not been there. But remember that the PDP rule guideline was that you come and address the delegates once. Tambowale has addressed them that he was going to contest. Then Atiku left the venue and then consulted. And then they now called Tambowale and then came back against the rule. They gave him the podium again to now declare that he has. So you can see that it was actually rigged. And that also shows the evil face of PDP.
Of course, yeah. I think Tambowale was to my mind, Tambowale was a dummy candidate for Atiku. He wasn't contesting that primary seriously, because his plan all along was at the dying minute to sell out and give his candidates to Atiku. So he's always a dummy sort of candidate to start with until the last minute where he handed over his delegates to Atiku. So that's my own opinion anyway. I think there were other people wanting to.
Okay, let's see other people.
Hands up. Pansin Dagyat, please take the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. In view of all that has been said, if for any reason the Fulani who controls the electoral process or the electoral umpire manipulates the 2023 election, do you think that there can be any resistance, or is there a capacity at any place that will create a resistance? That's my question.
This question is a technical one, strategically private. But I believe that, you see, the situation is they built You see, these are people who are less than 10% of the population of the whole Nigeria. Look at what they did. They went and installed their member as a Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. And even when Anthony Guterres, Secretary General, came, he moved straight away to Zamfara, to Maiduguri, where Boko Haram. He did not even look at any other way. So even at the United Nations, they have their people there who will always suppress any agitation here and call it unreasonable. That is one. Secondly, they announced the result today. Oh, they will tell you this is democratic system. They set up a tribunal. They set up a tribunal. The tribunal will give their own verdict until it comes to the critical point. They take their decision. So they will tell you, oh, go ahead, go to the tribunal. And once you go to that tribunal, already you have given in to the antics. But the issue is that the only problem with Nigeria, and I've said it, Nigerians should say no election until there is security, on the issue of insecurity is addressed. It's not a question of election is secondary, because the election cannot hold. The election can never be election in Nigeria has never been fair. Much more under a situation of insecurity, of critical insecurity. So what we'll be talking about is now, what Nigerians should be talking about is, look, no security, no election. Then the world will listen to you. Nigeria is where they are killing people now. We don't even have the records of people they are killing. Because we don't know our records, we just say we are 200 million, we say this. I'm surprised that here in Rwanda, every person that was killed during the 1994 genocide against Tutsi, every one of them, they have their records. You see them put in their villages, this person was killed. Everybody, they have their records. But in Nigeria, we don't even have the records of people who are being killed every day. You could hear the prelate of Methodist Church saying that where his abductors kept him, that there were corpses there. Who were those corpses? Their relations, their relatives will think they are working somewhere. They will think they have missed, but they're dead. And we're looking at these things as simple. It is only in Nigeria, somebody dies, is killed, the following day, you go about work. Because the Muslims have given us their own system, culture, of somebody dies today, and you bury him the same day. Okay, and we have accepted it. Somebody is killed today, he's buried, you forget about it. You don't talk about the next person, the next victim.
Let's call the next person, Doctor, for time's sake. Dr. Aneda, I saw your hand up. Please unmute yourself and make a contribution or ask a question. Doctor, please kindly unmute yourself. Dr. Anedo. Okay, let's take Elder Tango then.
Yes. Hello. I have a question for. Hello. Are you hearing me, Doctor? Network is too bad now.
For Anedo.
Okay. Doctor.
There's a network problem.
What of this case now? Atiku Babangida case still in the court. No judgment. Was that done for any intention? Or?
Are you talking of Atiku and Buhari?
Okay, yes, case. Atiku and Buhari last election judgment still hanging, and we are talking of no election.
Yes, it is. It is the chief judge who is a Fulani man that assigns a case, and he can assign it tomorrow. If the critical, it becomes. Don't be surprised that next week, if they know that if APC brings out a Southerner now, a Christian as their candidate, and they are aware that somebody will actually, the Nigerians will revolt by voting, they can deliver a judgment and tell us
Let us restrict ourselves to the facts and avoid speculation, please. Thank you.
I don't know what. No, I don't know what you mean by speculation.
I asked a
projection is not speculation. And even as a, okay, you're a lawyer, even as a scientist,
talk
about hypothesis.
Right now, there are two
you talk of hypothesis. Hypothesis is an idea, it's a scientific idea which generates
to facts. I will say good night.
Wait, please. There are two court cases now questioning the citizenship of Atiku, whether Atiku is a Nigerian citizen. You, as an individual, has the right as well to go to court today and tell Nigerians that Buhari is not a citizen of Nigeria. And the court will give you a right of audience. Let's always avoid conspiracies, speculation.
What is conspiracy that election?
Please. No, Mr. Elomba, we are not talking about citizenship.
And the new election is coming, and the old election is still in the court.
Ms. Briggs, we called you earlier. We don't know. I think you are back now. Are you free to make a contribution?
Right on.
Yes. Mr. Elomba, we are not interested in that citizenship because that citizenship is watering. You cannot tell us.
Let's call Ms. Briggs.
Yeah, it's watering. You cannot walk. But we are talking about the 2000 and is it 19? 2019
election.
Yes, presidential election. The case is still in court.
Ms. Briggs is
That's what we're talking about.
Let's allow her to make her contribution.
Not this thing, because as far as I'm concerned, there is no, there's what we call interface, ethnic interface or territorial interface between the Adamawa of Nigeria and Adamawa, Fulani Adamawa.
I only use that as an example.
Yeah, of Cameroon.
Sorry,
so
we don't mean
any of them can move together. It's just like anti-brick is here now. Anti-brick is here.
Hello?
You know that between
let us restrict ourselves to the discussion. I only use that as an example that we shouldn't digress. So let's allow Ms. Briggs to make a comment, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
I think I came in early enough to hear quite a lot of things that they were a bit outside of the topic that you sent out, but nonetheless, we need to, me as a person, I have always asked this question: what really is it that we want? What do we want? Because we cannot be as critical and be as offended as we are about Nigeria. Well, let's say I definitely am offended about the way Nigeria is, the way Nigeria is going. And I have made a decision a very long time ago that Nigeria is not working. Now, a lot of times we seem to be wanting to fix Nigeria on the one hand, and then also not wanting to fix Nigeria on the other hand. Listening this evening, we've discussed, I've heard the discussion very passionately about the southern position, the Asaba Accord or Declaration or whatever it was called at that time. At the time they made that declaration, I kept saying that they needed to agree that whom is it going to? If the South, it comes to the South, which it should. I have always said that Obasanjo has done 8 years for the South, and then he went to the North. And then Yaradua died, and Jonathan finished off a constitutional 1 year. And he was elected for another 4 years, which is 5 years. It's not 6 years. And Jonathan did the slot of southern Nigeria as a Niger Delta man, not as an Ijo man, not as a tribe, but as a region. He did a regional slot. Now, having done that regional slot, if it is coming back to the South, I definitely believe that I have always said that the Igbos, it should go to the Igbos. Now, we know that in the past, we had Eastern region, Western region, later we had Midwest region, we had Northern region. Nigeria is the only country that does not go by the standard geographical placement of north, south, east, and west of a country. So there was no southern Nigeria, as far as I knew when I was growing up and doing and was in primary and secondary school before the Civil War. So we were in Eastern region. Now, whether we like it or not, Eastern region and Western region and Northern region, as they were before the war, is defunct. It's no more existing as a region. What we have are zones, and these zones have been zoned and accepted by the Constitution as 3 zones in one part of Nigeria, Northern Nigeria, and yes, and 3 zones in Southern Nigeria. They have more states in the north, and they have more local governments in the north, more representation, and all of those things. These are lopsided things. Now, let's come back to where we are today in Nigeria. And I am asking, are we talking about wanting to stay? Do we want to stay in Nigeria? If we want to stay in Nigeria, then what we have is Southeast 5 states. We have South-South 6 states. We have Southwest 6 states. Then we have so in the north, and they have more states. We can't be in the present and still want to be going back to the past. I've heard about Wike's name being mentioned here. Now, Wike is the governor of my state. We were in Eastern region. We are no longer in Eastern region. We are Rivers State. In Rivers State, there are ethnic nationalities that make up Rivers State today. And in these ethnic nationalities, the recognized ethnic nationalities in Rivers State are known. The fact that we have Igbos that are in Rivers State is an accepted fact. Now, the argument, therefore, that if we can have Igbos in the southeast of 5 states, and then continue with this argument that does us no good, that the Rivers State belongs to Igbos, which does us no good at all. Now, Wike himself, somebody said here, I think Elder, the first gentleman that spoke, said that Wike had publicly said that he is not an Igbo man. Wike has said so. His name is not Wike. He said his name is Wike, and it is spelled W-I-K-E. And so when we go through this process of insisting that the governor of a state belongs to people, that his name is not actually what his name is, it defeats the whole purpose of the fight for justice that we're trying to achieve. So I ask this question. I'm asking people of Igbo extraction, do they want to stay in Nigeria? I ask my people, the Ijaw people, I ask my people that share my region, the Shekiris, the Urobos, do they want to stay in Nigeria? Now, coming back to Atiku, I totally, at this point in time, I still believe that it is unfair for Atiku to come back as a Fulani man, as a Muslim, to govern Nigeria again. The fact that he's saying he will do it, in only 4 years, that's neither here nor there. They all say that, and they still come back. So now, are we accepting that it is okay for Atiku to come back as the president of Nigeria? If it's okay, then the rest of us have no choice but to fall in line, because it's politics. You know, so it's painful to see people and hear people I respect, and people that should be able to fight for justice and equity, not being able to be sure what exactly it is that we're fighting for. What really are we fighting for? We have a situation where when I started campaigning and talking about an Igbo presidency in one of your programs, Elomba, it was Igbo people that were asking the questions. Do Igbo people have qualified people? Igbo people were asking that question. And I was shocked because it's not, I mean, if an Igbo man can say, do we have qualified people? That is why you can find delegates, Igbo delegates at PDP voting for Atiku. And then you have a northerner like and a Muslim like Tamboa saying to his delegates, vote for Atiku. And we all know the relationship that Tamboa had with my governor, Wike. It's a known fact. Wike fought for Tamboa for him to become a candidate, yes, an aspirant in 2019. And yet Tamboa turned around and looked Wike in the eyes and said to him, my vote is going to go to my brother because I believe that Northerners should become the president again. And yet I hear here that it is okay for Igbo people to vote for, what's his name, Atiku, to become the president. So I don't understand, therefore, what the argument then is sometimes when people say, why should Wike run? If a Fulani man, a northerner, a Muslim can come back after Buhari, then what is the argument about Wike running? I don't know, but I knew that Wike was my governor before I was saying that for equity and justice, I felt that the South should be able to decide that the presidential ticket on PDP should go to Ndibo. I think PDP has let the south of Nigeria down, especially the southeast and the Niger Delta region. Because in the past almost 20 or so years, since 1999, we have made PDP the party of preference, at least in my region. We've made PDP the party of preference. So we should decide what we want. Either we want to stay in Nigeria and carry on the way this thing is, or we don't want to stay. If we want to stay, let's stop arguing. Let's just stay. Let the Northerners on Facebook. I was attacked by Igbo people, Igbo youths telling me that because Wike ran, that the Northerners can rule forever. I mean, on Facebook, just this weekend, because I was against the fact that Atiku had emerged. So we need to decide what we want. For me, I don't think that we know what we want. Even in my region, we don't know what we want at all. And that is really, really sad. Thank you very much for the time.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you,
madam.
Yes. Yes. Let me come in there. There's Mr. Elomba. There is something Tango raised, and they said it's out of point here. And about Atiku, we are not talking about Atiku's nationality question, citizenship question. We are talking about the pending Supreme Court case between Buhari and Atiku over the 2019 election. The judgment has not been delivered, and we're preparing for another election. That is one. I want you to understand that. Then, based on what Sister Brick said, you see, that is what we are saying. What we are talking about is that let Igbo people water down the problem of, Southeast, Southwest, South Rivers, and we don't want it at this time. Let every Igbo be Igbo, even when you say you are not Igbo, but your name is Igbo, but you are speaking Igbo. You are Igbo. That is strategy. That where people will be emphasizing on the issue of okay, look at this. Atiku Bridge is from River State. She's not from Delta State. But my governor gave her appointment the other time, based on the fact that she's an Ijaw woman, and we have Ijaw people. And also Ijaw people from Delta can cross to River State and get appointments. Because to Ijaw people, they are one. Ijaw from Akwa Ibom through Cross River to Lagos, Ijaw people are one. And that is what we are saying. Let Igbo people believe they are one. And what we've even been talking now is that, first of all, when you're talking about population density in Nigeria, the Igbo people are the highest in population in Nigeria. Forget about it. If you are talking about demographically, the square kilometer, the per person, square, kilometer, the Igbo land is largest. The density is largest in Nigeria. And at every state in this Nigeria, the second highest in population to the indigenous of that state are the Igbo people. And if you go to the diaspora, the highest number of Nigerians in diaspora are Igbo people. In the whole West Africa, even in East Africa, if you are looking at NIDO, Nigerians in diaspora, the Igbo have always been dominating the chairmanship of presidents. So the only way the Igbo people can prove that population is first, we need that idea. If we say we are giant of Africa, then let us behave like giants. The issue of voting, those diaspora voting, we are not even talking about it. Because if they're diaspora voting again, this issue of Fulani dominating will not be there. So there are areas we can channel our energies and make sure that we bring this country to order. It's not by this traditional campaign control. Let me tell you, if the whole Niger Republic, if the whole population join join the Sharia zone, the South and Middle, they will never meet the population of the South. But the issues of planning, the national chairman of National Population Commission is a Fulani man. Okay, so how can you determine? So how can you determine how to put this country in order? And that is the reason they look back. They say, no, we cannot leave this presidency. Atiku should go. And as Atiku is coming, and if time is not taken before this election come out, the Supreme Court will rule in favor of Atiku that he actually defeated Buhari in 2019 election. He can now start, leading. Because Nigerians are corrupt. If you take 3 billion naira and give a Supreme Court judge, he look back, what will be my gratuity? What concern me with that? He will take it and do the billings of those who are oppressing him. So these are part of our problems in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Doctor. At this point, we'll call it a day or an evening. And I really want to say thank you so much, Doctor, for coming to this section.